Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ian as a Weirdo. Yes, you can see here that I'm streaming on StreamYard instead of Restream, giving it a try because this is where I will be doing the charity live stream, and so I figured I'd get more acquainted with the the lay of the land, if you will. So I am going to be doing some prep for my upcoming charity live stream. And that involves doing a little manipulation, if you will, to this Bernat blanket yarn. I picked this up from Walmart tonight. I made it out of the house. I'm so proud of myself. Um, and I didn't just use it to buy yarn, but I did buy quite a bit of yarn. Okay, anyways, let's just not focus on that detail. So what I need to do is I need to unwind this entire ball. I'm already dreading it. Why did I decide to do this? This is a stupid idea. Okay, but one of the things I need to do is, and like Restream has like been fucking up a lot lately, so I decided to give StreamYard a little bit more effort. So I got Bernat blanket yarn. You'll know I don't fuck with blanket yarn often, so it was really kind of a last ditch effort. I couldn't find exactly what I wanted, but I think I can make what I want if this works out the way I am hoping it does. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find the innards of this ball, and feeling around inside, I know it's going to be yarn barf, but we'll get to that. Okay. So I couldn't quite find the color that I was looking for, and I won't tell you exactly what project it's for quite yet because I want you to be surprised during the charity stream. If you don't know, I'm doing a charity stream on the 21st. It's already scheduled, so if you see it, you can have it remind you now. Wow, blanket yarn is it's such a different texture. Used to now, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Ugh. So I have this, I don't know, stand for something. And because I don't know where my yarn swift is anymore, I'm gonna I'm gonna undo this ball of yarn just using this stand. And you might be like, Ian, that is fucking dumb. And you would be right, but I'm going to be dyeing some of this yarn, and so I need it to kind of all be out so that I can have access to different parts of it. So I'm just gonna like go here and like tie a little knot there. God, what have I gotten myself into? It doesn't need to be evenly dyed, so I'm not super worried about perfection. I'm just worried about good enough. And if you know me, good enough is good enough. That's the phrase of the day. I wish I had like a lazy Susan to like put this on to just like have it rotate, have me not do all the work, but best laid plans of mice and Dickens. So I'm just wrapping this yarn around here. And the good thing about this stand, I've used this to dye yarn before, is that I can just plop it in my bathtub. My bathtub is separate from my shower, just so you know. And I can let it dry. It can drip if it needs to, and it's not a big deal. Now, this is a acrylic yarn, so it does not dye like natural fiber does. It will not accept that dye. So there are a couple ways you can dye it. You can use specialized dyes for acrylic, or if you're poor and or cheap, I guess you can do, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, if you're me, you can use watered down acrylic paint to dye it. And so that's what I will be doing, but I've got to get all of the yarn exposed, or most of the yarn. Like I said, we're not going for an even dye job here. So, I know this probably looks like the stupidest thing I've ever done. And it may in fact be. Who knows? You know? I like to keep surprising myself with stupid shit and see what shakes out. I'm sure my arms are going to be very tired after this. I was going to make a dad joke, but I don't even have the energy for that right now. I posted 3 TikTok videos today, and they were all like, I don't think they were necessarily all stupid, but like, I guess I'm just like trying to embrace the app a little bit more than I have in the past. And, you know, that's like, just trying something new. This yarn is so soft. I mean, it's like a super weird texture when you're used to dealing with like 4-weight acrylic, but like it's so fluffy and nice. This would make really awesome snowballs. I'm gonna just go ahead and remove the tag, although I don't want to rip it, and like, because I like saving my tags, but like the only way it wants to come off is the way that I'm pulling the yarn. So we'll just pretend like that's not happening and just do this. Okay, back to getting my yarn all exposed. And this thing is about like 3.5, 4 feet tall. So it hopefully will be able to get all the yarn kind of exposed if I mummify it properly. Then I have to get it off, which is going to be super annoying, but this is what we do for our art. We do dumb shit. Am I right? Or so yeah, I'm just I have a couple things that I bought from Walmart when I was there that I'm really excited about. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to give you no context. So I have this half circle, and I drilled my first thing ever when I drilled a hole into this. That is really pokey. I'm going to be using this side anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I drilled a hole into the center of this. I'm excited about that. I got some supplies that I didn't need for the fundraiser, but I just have been wanting to do. I got some pony beads because I've been really wanting to make a crochet flail, like a little sexy thing. And I thought pony beads would be a fun and stingy way to add to that flail. So I got some like neon rainbow pony beads. I should have got some Christmas colors and made a Christmas one, but by the time I finally get to that, it's going to be past Christmas. So we'll wait till next Christmas to introduce the Christmas flail. But anywho, so yeah, I got some beads for that. I found a Red Heart Jumbo, a Super Saver Jumbo that I don't know if I've seen before or what. It's not as soft as the other Red Hearts, which is kind of saying something, but I thought it would be really so it's a jumbo speckle, and it just looks like it would work out really nice in the knitting machine. So I got that. Let's see. Got stuff for the auction. Let's see. That's all for the auction. This is going to be for applying the dye. I have a little spritzy bottle that I'm going to be using to mix acrylic paint and water. to kind of give like a, some of the color that I wanted. So basically what I wanted, my dream yarn would have been like white and yellow. Okay, now this is going to a real shit show real fast. Real shit show real fast. And I could not find that. So I decided, hey, why don't I just dye my own yarn like the grown ass bitch that I am? And then I was like, how am I going to do this? Because I don't really have anything to dye yarn like I want to. And this is the best idea I came up with. So I'm grasping at straws. But basically, I'm just making a 4-foot tall snowman out of this yarn, just wrapping it like a mummy around this. Now, like I said, the yarn doesn't need to be like perfectly aligned. I'm not trying to create any specific type of pooling or whatever. Like, it's going to be very, hopefully, random looking. Hopefully I won't under or over dye the yarn, and hopefully it will hold on to the yarn like I want it to. This is a labor-intensive process, especially on your back. Also, if my comments aren't working, if you could message me, please do, because I know that happened the other day on Restream, and I was like, there are people here, but nobody's talking. So, if that happens again, just let me know, and we'll restart the stream or something. Okay, well, I didn't really want that, but okay. Am I even like making a dent in this card so far? I feel like I've done so much work. Oh, it's kind of like like this. That's not too bad. At least that shows that I've done something. But yeah, so luckily this yarn is very soft, so it runs through my fingers very easily, and this is not causing any yarn burn thus far. So that's kind of like the main problem with like dyeing acrylic yarn is just getting it out of the skein or ball or whatever you have it in. I mean, honestly, it would be 1,000 times easier if it was in a ball or something, or a hank, but we don't really buy acrylic yarn in a hank. So this is what we're doing. Just going around. But yeah, I was thinking about combining this yarn with the Pioneer Woman yellow yarn that she has. It's like a fluffy yellow, but it was just like too much yellow, and then also it was so thick. Like I think it was like a 7-weight yarn, and this is a 6-weight yarn, so like crocheting it would have been a nightmare. Plus I need to get beads onto this. So I was like, hell no. To that plan. Okay, so here's a knot, but that's okay. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know where my I knew the name of it at the beginning of the video, and now I do not know the name of it. This looks so weird. So weird. Oh, the things we do. But I'm really excited to have this be part of my projects. I'm going to be doing multiple projects during the charity stream. Let me just talk about the charity stream for a little bit. So I'm going to be doing multiple projects that remind me of holidays with my grandma. I'm also going to be doing some stuff that's focused purely around Alzheimer's awareness and the colors of that. So applying those colors to various projects and just kind of having fun and doing stuff that would make my grandma happy if we were just doing this together. Um, my grandma, like, my parents never discouraged me from doing art. They were always very supportive in that aspect. Whether it was beading or drawing, they were always very supportive of that. But my grandmother was a true creative, and they didn't have a lot of money, um, you know, while my mom was growing up. Oh, hey, we're making a good dent. Hell yeah, this is going a lot faster than I thought. Nice. They didn't have a lot of money, and I'm gonna tell stories about my grandma while I do my charity stream because it is definitely in her honor. This is definitely for hashtag Team Joan. That was my grandma's name. Um, and and I'm going to be talking a lot about memories I have with my grandmother that I really cherish. But a thing about my grandma was that she was not only very, very creative and crafty and skilled, very skilled. Like, I can't emphasize enough how talented my grandmother was. Her main craft was sewing. I thought about bringing out my sewing machine. I almost bought some fabric that was one gorgeous. It was like this knit, like it was like coral and navy, like knit that I thought would make a perfect sweater. But then I was like thinking about running it through my machine, and it kind of gave me hives. so I'm like, I'm not gonna pull out the sewing machine. Plus, it would shake my table like crazy, and it would be like watching Cloverfield, but for crafts. And so uh, she primarily sewed. Now, they didn't have a lot of money, but my grandfather was what some would call an expert haggler and would often get supplies from my grandma um, whenever she needed them. But, it wasn't going to a craft store. It was like buying out like a business that was like a business that was going out of business. Like, he would like buy out like all of the fabric that they had. And so like I am not lying when I said like like tractor trailers. There was a trailer full of fabric. So when I come by yarn hoarding, I come by it honestly. It is in my genetics that I need to build essentially a bomb shelter around my crafts. Um, and so she would make beautiful quilts. That is one thing that I don't believe I'll ever get into, although I think the art and the craftsmanship of quilting is stunning and amazing. It seems way too tedious for me. I do tedious shit, but I mean, like, look at this. But like, I mean, this seems like next level tedious shit. And so, also, I'm really bad at knowing what colors go together. I feel like that's really important for quilting. Um, but she was so good, And one of my most sincere regrets is that I never, I wanted to learn how to sew after my grandmother had already been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and she was just not in a state where she could really do it anymore. So I never got the chance to learn from my grandmother how to, she had an entire sewing room in their house. where she had built-in sewing tables, like around like 3/4 of it, and part of that table was like one of those, "Hey Lydia, I'm prepping for um, my giveaway, not my giveaway, my charity stream. I'm gonna be dyeing some of this yarn, and I needed to get it all off the skein so that I could dye it." So this is what this crazy contraption is. This is just like a little stand I have, and I'm unwrapping the yarn and exposing it so that I can really get in there and dye the yarn. Because it's acrylic, I can't use normal fabric dyes because they will not bind to the plastic. So there's two options. You can buy expensive acrylic dyes, acrylic friendly dyes, or you can water down acrylic paint and paint the yarn essentially that way. So, but I never got to learn quilting from my grandmother, but she did instill in me a deep passion for crafts and making things yourself. Because when you're poor, you can't afford a lot of things, and back in the day when she was making things, it really was a lot cheaper to make things than to go buy them. There wasn't so much of a like commercialization of goods and this fast fashion that offers really cheap clothing. So she would sew all my aunts and uncles and my mom's clothes, and she was an expert seamstress. She was so talented, and such a beautiful soul. But she really nurtured my love of crafts and encouraged me to keep going, and was always down to learn a new craft with me. And she did a little bit of crochet. Um, she would tie um, fabric scraps together to make yarn, like her leftovers from quilting and sewing. She would tie scraps together and she would crochet with that. She would hand crochet, and then she would make rugs. And so she never, kind of formally did crochet, but she still crocheted. And but if I wanted to, pick up beading, or if I wanted to pick up making this type of ornament for this holiday, she was my number one cheerleader and would learn how to do it with me, and we would just have so much fun just doing that. And those are the times that I really miss and really valued, um, just being able to be with her and spend that time. I think that, now a lot of us, when we craft, we tend to craft alone or semi alone. Even if we're crafting online, we're still at home alone. And it's such a special gift when you are able to craft in person with someone you love who supports you, who's going to tell you no matter how terrible what you're making looks like, that you did a good job and going to support you through that process. And she was just such a beautiful, beautiful person, you know. She's the only grandmother I ever knew. My other grandmother passed before I was born, and she just really had such creative spirit and really made a lot of things out of really nothing at all. And she just was um, such an inspiration to me. And you know, I it's so easy to, if I buy this, that I can do this. But she was truly one of those people who just turned trash into treasure, and I always appreciated that about her. And it didn't decrease the value of what she made. In fact, it just made it more beautiful that it had come from just about nothing. So she was a really special woman, and I really hope that you'll join me for the Alzheimer's Association fundraiser that I'm doing on December 21st. It will be here on StreamYard, and I'm going to be live for 5 hours and 50 minutes, which is the amount of daylight hours that there will be on the East Coast on daylight, not daylight savings, on the winter solstice. And the fundraiser that I'm doing is called The Longest Day. And typically they do crafts for the summer solstice, which is the longest day of the year. But they also do like a supplemental fundraiser for the shortest day of the year, which is the winter solstice, which is the 21st. And so I will be live for that amount of time. I hope I can get some good work done. I might start projects and not finish them because it's pretty unlikely that I'll finish anything significant with crochet in that time. But, crochet just takes time and I'm slow as fuck. But I'm going to be doing activities that I did with my grandma, actual activities I did with my grandma. I bought supplies today. I'm also going to be doing things inspired by my grandma, inspired by the Alzheimer's Association, inspired by the idea of the longest day or the shortest day, because I just want to, I know that while I'm doing this charity and I'm dedicating it to someone I love, I know that there are so many people whose families are affected by Alzheimer's and dementia. And to me, it would be an incredible disservice to them and their families if I didn't if I didn't let other people dedicate this space to their own healing process when it comes to their loved one. We are getting to the end of the ball, which is good because I'm getting tired of this. So, in case you were thinking about hand dyeing yarn from a skein, this is what you have to look forward to. Oh, a Swift. Yeah, if I had a Swift, this would be so much easier. And I do have a Swift, I just don't know where it is. So if you can donate, donate. If you can't donate, show up. If you can't show up, watch the watch the stream afterwards. It's really just about being there for each other and supporting people, because this is such a tough subject for so many people, and it's just affected way too many lives. And if in my life we could see the end of this disease, I think that I mean, obviously, I would be over the moon. Um, you know, it's interesting coming at this from the perspective that I have as someone who is fairly-ish young, but has memory problems, has had memory problems for a long time. Um, you know, I know how distressing it is to not be able to remember something. And when you once had the capability to have a fairly good memory and remember shit that happens, and that is a really painful experience for a lot of people to go through. And then, it crosses a threshold where it becomes extra hard on the families. And I just, being a family member of someone who has Alzheimer's is no joke. If you're a caretaker, the responsibility and the work that you have to put in is, um, I would say, nearly immeasurable, frankly. Um, and so I I want to support people out there who are dealing with this. I want to support. Um, I'm good, Lydia. How are you? I'm just prepping for this this fundraiser. I couldn't find the yarn that I wanted, so I'm making the yarn that I wanted. So this is the burnout blanket yarn. It is a 6-weight bulky yarn. I think most of us are pretty familiar with it. I never use it because I hate blanket yarn. It bothers the shit out of me and hurts my hand. But this is the color Vintage White. So it's like a slightly off-white. It would be great to make indoor snowballs with. And and but anyways, but I wanted something that had a little bit more yellow in it, because of what I am making on the day, which again, I'm not gonna give away too much because I want to kind of have it be a surprise, and kind of surprise reveal moment when I'm like, okay, and the next craft we're doing is blank. I have a bunch of crafts planned. I wrote really like 6 hours with all the crafts I have planned. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get done. Your blanket inspired me. I actually, where's the other bag? I actually went to Walmart today and I bought Favorite Stripe because your blanket's just so beautiful. I I have resisted buying Favorite Stripe for so long because every time I see it, I'm like, it's not as impressive like in the skein as like I want it to be. But like seeing your blanket, I'm like, damn, that's so gorgeous. Kind of the same with like Super Saver Blacklight and Super Saver like what is it, Neon Stripes. Um, it just never looks as appealing to me on the skein as it does worked up. And it's kind of like Super Saver Mexicana, where like it just kind of looks like a shit ton of colors on the skein, but when you work it up, it's just like, whoa, this is gorgeous. Um, but this is going to allow me to dye the yarn um, a little bit more evenly. I'm not going for a full yellow. I'm just trying to kind of create a little bit more dimension to the yarn so that when I work it up in my project, it will look a little bit cooler. Because I just want, and I was again thinking about doing like this yarn or like just a white yarn with the Pioneer Woman yellow yarn, yellow fuzzy yarn, but the yellow was too yellow and the white's too white, so I got to meet somewhere in the middle. So it's a lot easier to add yellow to white than to kind of like they didn't want to do all the colors, but then I found out that that yarn and I didn't have to worry about it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I mean, doing a rainbow stripe uh, blanket without rainbow stripe yarn is definitely a lot of work and a lot of loose ends you gotta tie up. So I understand that. Okay, so we're right at the end. I've tied it at the top loop of this little stand, and I'm gonna tie it at the bottom here once I kind of get to the end of this little space here. And I'll probably have to cut this off, but I don't really care because that's fine. Okay, so that is that. And like I'm gonna I have some like double layers here, like especially on this top where I uh the shape is kind of odd. It's thicker, so I'm probably gonna have a glove on and I'm gonna help kind of work some of the color in there. I want it to be kind of like look like kind of like a speckled look. So I'll be able to turn this around. I'm gonna do this while in my bathtub so that I don't get paint on my carpet. because the carpet is acrylic too, so it's going to do the same thing the yarn does. But this will allow any excess moisture to drip into my bathtub. I got a little spray bottle from Walmart. I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow paint with water and spray it. I might add like a little bit of like, I don't know, maybe like an ochre color too to give it a little dimension, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll just kind of see how it plays out. But yeah, so that's that. Um, Again, so I have this. What are you going to color yarn? What do you mean? Um, like, what am I coloring it for? Because that's a secret. Um, and I I did find these really cute little buttons. I know that like, hey Roberta, welcome in. You missed the fun of me unrolling an entire brunette blanket ball yarn onto this little metal stand that I have, for no reason other than to add a little bit of dye to it by mixing acrylic paint and water. And I'm going to kind of give it like a yellow speckled kind of color. So it's going to be white and yellow. And I couldn't find the yarn that I needed. And I didn't want to order some expensive yarn. So I just was like, hey, this is here at yeah, I'm gonna be dyeing the yarn. Um, don't you love my Scooby Doo shirt? I love Scooby Doo. It's my favorite. But while I was at Walmart, I was just looking at buttons. I was looking at literally every craft item they had, just like, what am I gonna make? What am I gonna do? Blah blah blah. And I know that leather tags and like handmade tags for like hats you make or products that you make are really popular right now. And I think they've always been popular, but a lot of people want them. I want them right now. I've been looking at like leather stamping tools, rabbit hole. But I found these little buttons that say handmade for you with love. And they were, I want to say, maybe $2 for 7 buttons, which isn't a terrible price. And it's just a cute little accessory to add to your handmade items, as long as that handmade item isn't for someone who would choke on that. Yeah, so I'm not telling what the project is yet. You may know if you've been following my movements for, I mean, I don't even think I had it planned when I did this, so I don't know if you would guess, but you can try to guess. I won't tell you. I'm prepping for the fundraiser because I want to be able to just get to crafting as soon as 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time hits on the 21st, which is the winter solstice. So it's the shortest daylight hours of the year. In Eastern on the Eastern on in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. I guess it depends on where you are on the hemisphere, but whatever. Um, in New York, it's going to be 5 hours and 50 minutes of sunlight of daytime. So that is exactly how long I'm going to be doing the stream. Now, I'm doing the stream for the Alzheimer's Association. Every year, apparently, just found this out, every year they do what's called the longest day fundraiser where people craft, and they do it on the summer solstice, which is the longest day of the year, has the most daylight hours. But in between, they do a smaller kind of co-occurring event um, for the winter solstice. So I'm trying to raise money for the winter solstice, which is the shortest day of the year. So I'm going to be doing crafts that are, one, important to me because I did them with my grandma, two, inspired by the colors of Alzheimer's and dementia like the ribbon color is like a deep royal purple, and so well, I guess it's just purple. So doing stuff in that color. So I try to make my ribbon hat in the purple colors. Um, and then I'm gonna be talking about different things, just different crafts that I did with my grandma and things that inspire me and make me think about my grandma. I love my grandma so much. She passed away due to Alzheimer's um, several years ago, but she was a beautiful woman. Loved crafting. Um, I mentioned it earlier in the stream, but she really, I mean, like they had just about no money. Like they were so poor, and they had 6 kids, and so she would sew all of their clothes. And my grandfather, he was like a master, what did I call it, haggler earlier, where he would like when like businesses would go out of business, like fabric businesses, he would just like buy like the lot at an auction of like tons of fabric. And like imagine, if you will, like like a tractor trailer, like the trailer part. My grandmother had one. They had a huge property that effectively was a junkyard. Long story, but um my grandma had a tractor trailer size, full of fabric. And it was all mismatched and different types and all kinds of things. And she would make the most beautiful things. She was a quilter, something definitely don't have the patience for. I would love to quilt in honor of my grandmother, but I don't think I want to associate that number of curse words with my grandmother. And yeah, I mean, I want this to be something that that we can all stand by. And I don't want it to just be about honoring my grandmother, but I want it to be about honoring all the people in our lives that are dealing with it or have dealt with it, and understanding that like this is something that is really hard on a lot of families all over the place. Do a quilted wall hanging. I would rather gouge my eyes out. But luckily for you, my grandmother was a crafter in many senses. She did do hand crochet. She would tie her scraps from her quilts and other sewing projects together, and she would hand crochet rugs. I mean, she was the epitome of a thrifty crafting goddess. She just did it all. She was so magical, and she was always super encouraging me, of me to craft any craft I wanted to do. If I was like, hey grandma, I saw this thing on how to make this ornament, she would be like, let's do it. And she would like, we would just do it. And it was so cool and supportive, and she just was so down just to try anything. And I'd like to think that I'm anything like her, in that sense, because I'll try anything once, with the exception of quilting. But I said this in a previous video. I said it in the video announcing the the marathon that I'm doing. If you have a family member that you would like to honor during this stream that I'm doing on the 21st, please message me. You don't have to message me any details. You don't have to have, like, don't want to. You don't even have to say their name if you don't want to. You can just say I had a family member, and we can just bring them up on the live stream and just say, hey, like, this person just wanted to honor their family member. So we're gonna give this moment to them. Like, I want this to be a collective good feeling, because this is an ugly illness. Dementia and Alzheimer's are ugly. They're not easy on anyone. And I want this to be a stream of joy and happiness and remembering all of the lovely moments we had with the people who had to deal with this illness. Um, so I want to share like tons of memories of my grandma. Um, the picture on the event is of my grandmother when she was young. Um, I have a couple other pictures that I'll try to bring up and share if I can find them, because the only other one that I have that I know I can easily find is the one from her wake. And while I mean she was beautiful, um, and it's a it's a more accurate picture of what I saw as my grandmother. Not necessarily the nicest context, but that's just life, and we have to work through it together. But we have each other, and that makes things a lot easier. So I guess with some extra time, I guess I'll say what else I bought from Walmart. So I bought this. I bought this yarn. This is the Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo Speckle in the color light blue speckle. I just thought that this would make the most beautiful hat on the knitting machine. So that's what I got. I got some pony beads to make a flail, like a little sexy time flail. I thought it would be cute and be a little stingy. Not gonna be making that on the stream. Don't want to associate that with my grandma. If you catch my drift. Bought some more purple yarn. I just wanted to make sure I had enough, so I got this purple. This is Mainstays acrylic, and then I also got this Mainstays acrylic, but it's the sparkle, and it's it's lavender, and then it has this like iridescent. Like, can you kind of see that? It's like iridescent purple blue shimmer to it. It's so pretty. So I was like, maybe I'll make the Alzheimer's hat out of that. I don't know. But anyways, and some other purple yarns that I might use. I have some Simply Soft that I might use. Who knows? I have some styrofoam balls to make ornaments. I believe my grandma. Oh, this is really pressing me. I want to say she was like 74 or something like that. It's been let's see. It's been in the neighborhood of like 8 to 10 years since she's passed, so my memory is a little foggy on that. And I didn't see my grandma for a lot of the later years, like late years in her life, because so not only did my grandmother on my mom's side have Alzheimer's, but my grandfather on my dad's side had dementia, and um, the last time I saw him, he didn't recognize me, and that is a pain I would not wish on anyone. So after that, I was not able to go see my grandma because I knew, because also it's not just like that people don't remember you. It's also like I recognize that I kind of shapeshift a lot. I do dramatic haircuts frequently. I change my hair color all the time. I constantly have more piercings. All these things, like, I just knew that that was going to be like an extra hang up in her recognizing me. So I just was like, I can't do it. And maybe I'm a bad person for that. I don't know, but like for my own sanity, I had to put my oxygen mask on and say, you know what, like and like also when people can't recognize you but they know they're supposed to based on like social cues, they get upset, and I don't want to cause my grandma any stress by not recognizing me. So I knew it was time to call it. But but I kept tabs on her. My cousin Daniel visited her more often than I did, and so I would always keep tabs on her that way. But it was something that unfortunately I just wasn't able to do mentally and emotionally. Wish I could, but you know, I I'm 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 at peace with how I did things, and I know I'll see her again, so it's fine. Um, I got some sequins. I literally looked all around uh, Walmart, and I could not find a fucking sequin. I literally needed sequins for a craft. I could not find sequins anywhere. I'm like, did they not make sequins anymore? The fuck? But then I stopped quickly at the Dollar Tree. These were the only sequins they have, but they're all like metallic, and I think they're beautiful. So I think they're gonna do the job. Um, and then yeah, I told Lydia I bought the favorite stripe. This is just for me. Um, and yeah, so those are some of the things I did. Uh, I got out of the house, was really excited about that. Posted on TikTok about it because I'm gonna try to use that platform more. I'm trying to advertise this fundraiser as much as possible. I've reached out to a company called Jelly Pops. I think I think they're called Jelly Pops, and they are a company that their main product is the Jelly Pop, and it comes in a set of like 25 is in your spirit and angel for Johan. I believe in Redbirds. They look down. Yes, I absolutely believe in Cardinals. Um, as loved ones, I know my grandma's with me. And I know she loved me. And you know, I've said this before, but it is hard when you have family that passes before you can come out to them, either as queer or as trans, and you always wonder if they still would have felt the same way about you. Um, and I just have to tell myself in my heart that my grandmother loved me. She loved me. And and I do think she would have had a hard time accepting, you know, who I am. But that doesn't mean that she didn't love me. And, you know, that's some peace that I have to make in my heart. And that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. Um, but yeah, I definitely um, feel my grandmother's presence quite a bit, and know she's with me. So thank you for saying that. I definitely agree. Um, but I wanted to recall all of those Christmases and holidays and just just downtime that we had when we would, you know, if we were getting ready for the holidays, and we would just try to just craft. And I like I said, she was always so like interested, you know, in trying a new craft with me. And so we're gonna do all kinds of crafts. um like I said, my grandmother didn't really crochet, so like that wasn't her main gig, but the things I am crocheting will be oh, sorry, I was talking about Jelly Pops. So I reached out to Jelly Pops because one of their main goals is to provide hydration for people with Alzheimer's and dementia. Now, a big problem that people with these illnesses face is that they have trouble meeting their daily needs. They don't drink enough water, they don't eat enough, they start to kind of wither away. And so Jelly Pops basically made like little gummy candies that people can eat, that and it provides a lot of hydration, provides electrolytes, and so it nourishes their body. And their primary focus is this group of people. So I reached out to them and I said, hey, I'm doing this fundraiser. I've had a little back and forth with them. So we'll see if they will sponsor anything. I was like, you can donate, or you can donate money to the specific fundraiser. Or you can, like, if you want to donate any product, like, we can give that directly to the assisted living facility that my grandmother was in. Anything, I figured it can't hurt to ask. Like, with fundraisers, like, I don't know if all of you know, like, what I do behind the scenes for these fundraisers, because I am reaching out to a lot of people to ask for things and try it. And, like, usually they don't pan out. Sometimes they do, but usually they don't. Um, and um, I've stopped asking YouTubers because I found that they just get bombarded with so many of these requests that they just couldn't possibly handle all of that. So I just don't want to be too much for anybody. But I have had YouTubers donate and be supportive to my fundraisers in the past. So, so yeah, I just, if you can, if while we're doing this fundraiser, you can share it out, you can do whatever you want to. If you can't donate, you can share it. You can just, as long as we can create an environment where we're really honoring these people who have suffered with these illnesses, and just have a good time. I like um on my dad's side of the family, we've had quite a few people pass in the past, 10 years or so. And my family on that side is full on Catholic Irish. And there is literally, I don't think, another group of people on this earth that will throw down a celebration of life like they will. But it's inspired me to celebrate life rather than mourn death, because you got to experience that person. That's a gift. Like, I want to spread the love that my grandmother spread to me. And I don't want to sit here and be sad all the time, because I am perfectly capable of being sad all the time if I want to be. But instead, I want to say, you know what? My grandma would have loved this, and she would have loved this. And we did this together, and I have this great memory. And to me, that's the best thing I can do for my grandma. That's what I think she would want. I don't think she would want me to sit here and be upset forever and not live my life. I don't think that's what she wants. I don't think that's what our loved ones would want. I'm not speaking for your loved one, but I don't think mine would. Um, I'm gonna do crafts that I literally did with my grandma. I'm so excited because a lot of these things I haven't done since I did them with my grandma. So it's gonna be pretty emotional, but like happy emotional thing. And I expect it to be, you know, I expect emotions to come up, and I'm gonna deal with them as they come up. Um, they may come up for you, and I just encourage you to just sit with those feelings. Oh, I'm sure she is. That's so great. Um, I just really want to do a celebration of life, but also take a strong stance against the illnesses that tormented the minds of the people we loved. I want to say, fuck Alzheimer's, fuck dementia. And I want to say, I really love this person. And this terrible illness got in the way of my loved one living their best life. And so, like I said, some things I'm going to do are purely because they were tradition with me and my grandma, or I did them once with my grandma and it was just a special time. And some things are going to be specifically directed towards Alzheimer's awareness. Um, and I'm gonna, I'm also gonna, I was thinking about working on like fidgets and stuff like that. Um, I'm going to be doing, luckily I have a couple people who've reached out to me that said they can donate things at certain donation amount, like marks met, ugh, donation marks met. And so I'm going to be doing a, Cat has a candy corn as well. Be here a few days. Oh, it's cute. So there will also be giveaways. I know right now that there are 3 crocheted items on there. There is a crochet hook. I might go ahead and throw in my clover crochet hook set. We'll see, because I was saving that for my 1,000, but I don't think I'm ever gonna get to 1,000, so who cares? But I might do the clover crochet set. I was thinking about doing a knitting machine, a Centro knitting machine. So even if you can't donate, just by being present and being active in the chat, you can win things. Like, I want to make this a really fun event. So yeah. So I hope we can. I hope it goes off without any technical issues. I know that those have happened with marathons in the past that I've done. But giving back is very important to me. And I know, I'm speaking personally. I'm not financially in the position to be giving out a ton of money. I would, I'd love to donate. I'd love to be a billionaire and donate $1 billion to Alzheimer's research, and but I'm not in that position, and that's okay. I'm doing what I think I can do. And if you do what you think you can do, showing up is enough. You know, you don't have to donate to make a difference. And I think you don't have to be made of money or even have really any money to give back, your time, your presence, your, you know, love. I mean, all those things are super valuable. So I don't want anyone to feel bad if they can't donate. I expressed that in my other video, but I really want to double down on it as hard as I can. If you cannot donate money or any items, please do not feel bad. This is something that is very close to a lot of people's hearts and is in a lot of people's families, and we just frankly aren't all in the position to give. But that's what makes this world so beautiful, is that there's a balance. And some people can give, some people can donate, some people can do more. So and there will be times in our life where maybe we can do more, and when we can, maybe we will. Good enough for me. Hopefully it's good enough for you. Don't beat yourself up if you can't do anything else, because at the end of the day, that's not what our loved ones would want. I strongly believe, without knowing your loved one whatsoever. But yeah, if you want me to mention someone that you that was affected by Alzheimer's or dementia, I know I'm saying Alzheimer's a bunch, but I am also including dementia in this because they're so strongly tied together, symptomology and whatnot, and the Alzheimer's Association also does dementia research as well. So if that has affected you or your family or anyone that this can be an important cause for them as well. So yeah. So I hope this got you excited, got you pumped for the fundraiser. I keep on wanting to say giveaway, but that's not exactly what it is. Loved ones die of both issues. Okay, well, Lydia, if you want me to bring them up in the stream, I would be happy to. Like I said, I want to honor as many people that are close to our hearts as possible. just send me a message on Facebook. If you want me to say anything, tell me what you want me to say, and I'd be happy to say it for you. Because I want to honor the people that we love. And it's not just about my grandma, because my grandma, if my grandma was the only person in history that had Alzheimer's, then this wouldn't be a foundation. This wouldn't be an association, right? Like, this wouldn't be something that hurts so many families. So this is a problem that is systemic. Okay, Lydia, thank you very much. So yeah, I hope you're excited for the fundraiser. I'm gonna be posting lots of things. You'll see me in Army of Weirdos and all that stuff. You'll see me on TikTok even. I posted on TikTok a couple times today about my agoraphobia and anxiety. So if you want to learn a little bit more about my experience there, you can find me on TikTok at ian.is.weird, because apparently the other two were taken. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I'm excited to do this. I always get really pumped but really nervous to do fundraisers, because I just want them to go as well as possible. I'm just like holding on to hope that we can meet this arbitrary goal that I made, but I promise you that there will be prizes worth getting if we meet our goal. I promise you that, because there's some cool shit. I'm just saying, there's some cool shit. So I'm gonna let you all go for the night. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I love you very much, and I hope you have a great night. Bye.